Man, there's a reason why it took so long to make this. My gosh. So let's talk about it. Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners 2, baby. Your tour through undead New Orleans continues in this new chapter in the tour story of the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, haunted by a seamlessly unstoppable Axeman facing off against the tower's latest push for total dominance. Discover what connects these new threats together before it's too late. And you got new faces with these old places, new weapons and gear all await you on this journey to your final showdown in the city's fate. And do you have what it takes to survive it all? Battle against that new foe that we talked about earlier that might chop you into bits, or run for your life and explore the new locales in New Orleans with the new loot quests and all these new walkers. And now with the new more nobody asked for night missions that will give you more loot and more undead opportunities to adventure on these maps. You can help or destroy people and collect the goodies that they harbor. And if anything, in any consolation, there is, like I said earlier, new weapons like dual Uzis or a massive chainsaw that adds incredible fun, in my opinion. That was like the peak of my enjoyment. So now with all the facts out of the way, let's get into the real reason why you clicked on this video for my overall thoughts, impression, and review, my boys. It goes as followed. I personally would seriously be lying to you guys if I said I was even looking forward to playing this game in the first place after completing the first game. And this is why it took so long, but finally I'm able to get this review out, and we're gonna break this down into the train wreck that this game actually is. Now, despite this game, because the first game was a lot slower paced and not really tailored to me, it was still a phenomenal game, especially after where this train wreck starts. So very seldomly a sequel gets worse than the first game, especially building off of the first game in a legit reskin, re-pump and dump of dutify garbage, dumpster diarrhea, shitbags, and shiitake oil rubbed all in between your anal holes and anal catapity. Fucking shitified chips. Yes. Shitified chips. Fucking yes. First of all, this game is glitchified and shitified. You got rats and shoes taking up all the visual elements of your backpack space. You have more dead zone space as you try to holster your weapons, and you end up grabbing your flashlight over and over while you try to grab your journal, and then you'll try to pick shit up off the ground and you're grabbing them same fucking holster weapons in that damn dead zone. And for some reason the first game never had those problems, so it's kind of odd that the second game, despite it being in the same engine, despite it using the same game logic, the same programming and everything, it's just gotten worse. And then, on top of it being worse with that, there is the decrease of amount of stuff that you actually get to grab in the game. From the first game, you can open every drawers and explore and pick up almost anything, where in this game, there's a lot of static models, and there's drawers that are there just for you to have visual stimulation, which is trash-ified, assified, my boys. Dudified fucking chips, garbage, dumpster, diarrhea, swamp ass, shitified shit crumbs off my anal. Now, this game was actually originated as DLC for the first game, but they scrapped it for Aftershocks, and the company said, let's pump and dump this bitch, Call of Duty style, slap a new number 2 on it with some coat of paints and extra goodies, and call it a day. And well, it's bad. They changed the combat system to be much more action-paced than the first one, which is ironic because I actually prefer this gameplay style over the first one, but yet it fucking is destroyed in every single other element. So you increase the gameplay, make it more funner, make it more action-oriented. You guys not a fucking dead-ass smoker that can't move around for fucking more than 5 minutes or 5 seconds. But everything else is bad after they fix that. It's like they completely reverse engineered what everybody said that was bad about the first game and then they made it bad, and then what was good in the first game made it bad in the second game, and then what was bad in the first game they made it good in the second game. It's just like, you can't fucking win. You just couldn't do both. It's like, too much compute. I just can't do it. I can't do it. I can do it. I can't do it. You know what I'm saying, guys? Like, it just baffles me how shocking that this seems to be. Ironically, it's fucking dog shit, and honestly, throughout my journey playing it, I actually hated it. And it's mainly because just the devs don't give a fuck about the game. I've had this game for a while. I've been playing and I've been streaming this game on and off for a while. Really drawn out my review because I typically like to beat a game before I review it, and we're going to talk about where that went in a second. So anyway, listen, guys. What drawed the line for me is this huge game-breaking bug. It's legit game-breaking bug. You cannot pass go. You cannot collect your $200. You're stuck on an island screaming for Wilson, and Wilson says, fuck you. And that's pretty much what happened to me, because in the middle of you speaking to an NPC during a specific mission and cutscene, which is this is the most moronic, idiotic thing I've ever seen in gameplay design, programming language design, coded by fucking simpletons that just want to pump and dump for profits over everything else, because fuck quality assurance. The consumers will buy because they're consumers, and guess what? PSN doesn't have a refund policy, mind you, unlike Steam, where they're actually more inclined to want your money because you can yeet it back after 2 hours. But on Sony, on the PSVR2, on the good old boys, you get fucked in the booty cheeks, bent over, rear-ended, pump and dump. So the game breaks after that. You know, you can't even have a proper cutscene without a zombie popping up that you could have coded to avoid a certain area. You can't tell me that's not possible. Their game, they have pathing, you know what I mean? Unless you gave them fucking free roam, free ability, you should segment off cutscenes that could break the game, or at least have backup code to, if that situation were to happen. It's like it wasn't even a thought. Anyway. And then on top of that, you have the boring quest line, the main story quest line from what I was able to play up against. It's just more like go here, go here, go here, go here. Not as structured as the first one. And then, like I said, the game breaking bug. So I never really got to see how the game climaxed, because I am not replaying this game, because I researched online trying to figure out how to fix it, and the only way to fix it is delete the game, start over from scratch, and that doesn't even make sure it's fixed completely, because if it can happen in that playthrough, it can happen in any playthrough. No playthrough is safe from this game breaking bug that hasn't been fixed since the fucking game released, and that's what I mean when I say the devs just don't give a shit, which is completely weird because the first one was so freaking great. This one just went to hell. They put profits over everything else, and I'm not wasting any fucking time playing Yahtzee on this dog shit. Interesting enough, despite the combat being better, the zombie spawns are even worse. As you kill them, they instantly spawn back, and your durability on your weapons is shit, no matter how many upgrades you have on them from your camp. And most of the time, you're better off not killing any of the zombies, because they will hit a spawn limit and congregate in certain areas, leaving the other areas more deserted, where you're just free to pick up all the shit and then get to the nearest boat. Because once they hit that limit, there's no more going to be spawned on the map. And if you do kill them, they will just instantly teleport to you anyway. And it's weird because they can also walk through walls, they can teleport behind you, they can ignore your attacks despite you knowing for a fact you hit them, and they just look at you unfazed. And it's an endless fucking swarm when you do have to actually approach these bastards, especially during the game's night missions. And the game never really prepares you or gets you really prepared to handle it. They just kind of throw you to the wolves, and you have to fend for your own. And they do give you a lot of resources, though, while you're playing the missions and going on these maps, to pick them up, leave, scrap, and you can prepare yourself. But that doesn't do anything if you're just trying to play organically, doing the missions one by one, because the more you sleep in the game, the more days go by, the more resources are supposedly get dwindled, and the more zombies that are actually supposed to spawn. So it's a contradiction to the gameplay loop in itself, which is more assified, my boys. That's what I'm saying. It's garbage, doodle-fied dumpster. It just has a lot of horrifying, unfair circumstances, and it just doesn't really do much for you. The game does give you a huge house where you get to, you know, not sleep on the bus anymore. Your guy moved from the bus to the house where you can customize it. And I mean, honestly, my interest in the game has dwindled, so I don't really care to customize my house anymore. But if you really do, you can really go crazy and customize this layer. And the performance of the game, despite all of my issues, is buttery smooth, and it has high crystal clear resolution. There's nothing wrong with that, but like I said, you know, you guys already know what I said earlier. I'm not going to keep repeating on that. So that is the bad in that way. The missions, like I said, they're a little bit harder. They're presented with unfair circumstances, and it's just kind of mediocre as you meditate and mediate your way, not meditate, as you mediate your way through these things, and it's honestly just kind of being shit thrown at the wall. And by far the most fun I had, ironically, was when I got my hands on the chainsaw, because it was perfect. It gave me immense joy slicing them up. The durability, I feel like if you just have a chainsaw, you have a lot of fuel on you, have as much fuel as you can, and you can just fucking chainsaw through all the zombies, man. You'll never have to worry about it. The game will probably be a lot easier to play once I got my hands on that. But honestly, with all its flaws and not seeing any fix in sight, the sadness about it is it's just falls short from what it was. It went from a perfect game in the first one to a shocking travesty in the second, and I'm complexed because even though I didn't enjoy the first one just because of the slower paced combat where the guy feels like a fucking smoker every 5 seconds, it was a phenomenal game, and there was barely any bugs or glitches by the time I played it, and it was great, fantastic, really, really good. And this one is just a mess, and it's almost a year now since the game's been out, and it's still due to 5 garbage dumps of diarrhea, guys. It is not good, and it doesn't seem to be any fix or fixes for this game in sight, which is such a shame. So we here at NGI give Walking Dead Saints and Sinners 2 on the PSVR2 a 7 out of 10. Make sure you stay up to date with all the latest in gaming tech news and reviews. Smash that like, and as always, subscribe. I'm gonna see you guys in the next stream or video. God bless and peace.
Who the hell is this guy? Come here, boy. Don't run away from me. Damn! Nobody can stand a chance with this chainsaw in my hand.
Yeah, I want a Pop-Tart, bitch. I want a Pop-Tart. Damn, I want a Pop-Tart, bitch. I want a Pop-Tart.